there folks, Mr. G here, back with another educational video. This week we're going to be talking about loans and consumer credit. This is sort of the opposite of what we've been doing so far, which is all about investments. So you have a certain amount of money, you put it in the bank, you come back later, there's more of it there. This is the opposite, where instead of putting money into the bank, you're taking money out of the bank in order to buy something or put a down payment on a house. And instead of gaining money over time, you need to pay off the loan. Fortunately, we can still use TVM and all of the same skills that we've been doing so far. The biggest change is usually the sign of your values when you're doing these calculations. So let's jump into an example and see how this works. Jim is taking out a loan of $15,000 to buy a new car. The dealership issues a loan at 7.4% annual interest, compounded monthly, and he's making payments of $325 at the end of each month. The first question, is this an annuity? The answer is yes. This is just like the annuities that we talked about beforehand, where we were putting in money periodically into a savings account. This is the same thing. We're making payments on a regular basis. That's what makes an annuity. So this is definitely still an annuity. The next question is, how much money does Jim owe at the end of 4 years? Here we can use TVM. So hopping over onto our spreadsheet, here we can use TVM to calculate what the amount of money he's going to have left at the end of 2 years. First, we put in his principal value, so how much money he has at the start. This is going to be positive because it's coming from the bank into his pocket. So it would be $15,000. If you want to make this look nice, you can always hit that little dollar sign. It'll format it as money. Next, his payment is negative $325. Again, this is negative because he's paying this into the bank, out of his pocket into the bank. We're doing this for 4 years, so the number of years is 4, and our annual interest rate is 7.4%. The number of periods in this case, we're compounding monthly, so the number of periods is 4 times 12, because there are 12 months in a year, and our effective rate is being divided by 12 because we are splitting up our annual interest rate into 12 portions. We're compounding it 12 times in the year. Once we have all of that, we can use TVM equals future value because we are solving for how much money he has at the end or how much money he still owes. A reminder, if you don't see this when you open up your function or when you type it in, there should be a little question mark here you can click, and this should pop up. When we click on the rate, we want to make sure it's the effective rate, number of periods, payment amount, present value, and these payments are being made at the end, so we put a 0 here, close our bracket. As we can see, Jim owes $2,058.60 still. This is negative because this is the money he still needs to pay the bank. So the way the calculator figures it is after our 4 years, this is how much money he would have to pay right at the very end to clear the loan. Our next question is about how long it would take him to clear off the entire loan. So how many months does it take him to pay off the whole car? Again, we're going to use TVM. I've entered in the numbers, so our present value being positive, our future value is now 0 because he pays off the loan, same rate, same payment, and negative still because he is still paying out of his pocket. Our effective rate would be calculated the same way, dividing by 12, and now we can calculate the number of periods, in this case the number of months. First we click on our rates, payment amount, present value, future value, still paying at the end, so we need a 0. And we get that it takes him 54.5 months, but we're told to round up, so our answer in this case would be 55 months. We don't need to change the number of periods to number of years. Oftentimes we did that in these types of questions, but since it's asking for the number of months, which is the same as our number of periods, we don't have to do the conversion for this question. Our answer is just 55. Last part, if he has to make a full repayment for the last month of the loan, so we're assuming that he has to pay the whole month, not just a part of it, how much does the car really cost him at the end of it all? We're going to head back to our spreadsheet. Our total amount here would be calculated by the number of monthly payments he makes and how much he pays each month. So a way we can calculate it is by taking the number of months that he paid, so 55, and multiply it by our payment amount. Now we get a negative number here because our payment amount is negative. If you want to fix that, you can go back up to here and just put times -1, and our total amount will be positive. If you want to see what the difference is, so how much he paid in interest charges, we would take our total amount that we paid, subtracted by the principal value here. So Jim paid about $3,000 extra for his car because he didn't pay for it all at once. So that was the interest charge here. Our last question here is about buying a new set of furniture for my apartment. I have $700 right now that I can pay towards this, but I have to borrow the rest at 18.4% compounded semi-monthly, and I want to know how much I'm going to be paying at the start of each semi-monthly period if I'm going to pay it off in 3 years. Now you might be thinking 18.4% seems like a lot, and it is. This is related to our next lesson on consumer credit. We'll actually see that this is quite standard when you take out these small loans to have interest rates as high as 30%. We can do this calculation using our TVM function, so let's hop over to the spreadsheet. First thing we need to do is figure out what the loan amount is. And this is how much money we're actually taking out. The cost of our furniture was $3,500, but we can pay off $700 right away, so we're only taking out a loan for $2,800. So that's going to be our present value, and it's positive because we're taking that money out of the bank, or in this case, the furniture salesperson. We want our future value to be 0 because we're paying off our loan. Our rate is 18.4% for 3 years. Now we need to calculate our effective rate and number of periods as well. To do that, we need to remember that we're doing this semi-monthly. Semi-monthly means that it's twice every month. There's 12 months in the year. That means we're doing it 24 times a year, 2 times each month. So for our effective rate, we divide by 24. For our number of periods, we multiply by 24. Once we have all of this, we can just plug it into our TVM, equals PMT, click on our effective rate, number of periods, present value, future value, and we're told we're doing this at the beginning of each month, so we need a 1 at the end here, close our bracket, and we can see that we're paying about $50. This is negative, again, because we are paying this amount out of our pocket. When we make these payments, we take money out of our pocket, we give it back to the furniture person who sold us the couch, and there we go. This is going to lead into our next video on consumer credit. Don't try any of the questions yet, and I'll see you in that video.